Craving some Mexican? Don't think twice. Come visit us at Monte Alban 3 at 1310 Highway 77, Lafayette, Alabama for the best Mexican food around. Cheese dip, quesadillas, tacos, sheriff specials, and the best salsa in Chambers County. Planning a party or something special? Call Roxana at 334-864-0502 to reserve the party room.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show, sponsored by Farmers and Merchants Bank, live from Monte Alban 3 here in the north side of Lafayette. Behind the camera there is Mr. David Howard directing this madness tonight, so we appreciate David. And as always, beside me, the voice of the Chambers Academy Rebels, Mr. Chester Carter, my friend. Chet,
all right.
I'm glad you're here.
Glad to be here, Sid. Good times here. It's been a couple weeks since we've been here at Monte Alban, and a lot has happened in the past 3 weeks.
It's been hectic and busy, and of course, with the change of schedule, with a non-anticipated home game coming our way, you can see that the Chambers Academy family.
Yeah, so in the past couple of weeks here, we had our first home game of the season against Starkville, and then we hit the road and went up to a new opponent that we've never seen before. That was Hope Christian Academy. Great folks up there,
yes.
Wonderful, welcomed us very well, and nice facilities up there. CA came out on top with a big 57-12 victory, and good luck to those guys the rest of the way as they continue to build that program. They have the right attitude up there, and hope to see them again soon. So good times up there.
The thing that I think we have repeated over and over is it is just a case of offensive and defensive line domination, and then your skill players, the door was open, and it was pretty much a mismatch from early on. But as we always say, coaches get some camera time with some film time with twos and other players, and it's always just a good idea. It's just a good thing to happen to your squad.
Yep. So quickly this year we got into region play with the Valiant Cross game moved up here to our home stomping grounds at Torbert Allen Field, and the Rebels came out quickly and got all over top of the Warriors from Valiant Cross and came out with a big region win there to take that one step closer to winning the 10th region in a row.
Well, it is strange, and we'll get into this later on too. We'll have 2 of our 3 region games finished by tomorrow night. So it's just an unusual way the schedule has fallen. But you're right, it was good to get that first region win under our belt, and it was almost a carbon copy of the previous game. I mean, the Valiant Cross team seemed to have better athletes. They were bigger athletes, but our offensive and defensive fronts just dominated the game. And again, the skill players came in and did what they're supposed to do. And it was again just a total mismatch early on in that game. But you mentioned one thing. We have dealt with really nice people so far this year, and I want to just mention that because in the side of the game that we're on, sometimes that can go a long way, helping us get set up, helping us find where to go, and we always try to return that favor to people coming down.
Oh, absolutely. We'll welcome the Saints from Hope Academy down here anytime and show them a friendly way like they did us up there. And nice facilities. Again, that's a great complex up there, and we look forward to seeing them again. Tomorrow night, like I said, is another region game. We're 1/3 of the way. Think about it. There's only 4 people in the division, and we can't play ourselves. So 3 games there for us in the region. And tomorrow, come out with a victory. We'll be 2-0 in the region and firm control because Banks we're both tied at 1-0 in the region.
And as you see, it'll be that separation. Whoever wins tomorrow night's game, and we anticipate it being us, will take over that lead and will be the driver of the region. And Chet, let's mention that point just a little bit further. 10 region titles in a row.
Yeah.
You might want to check my math, but I think that's a decade.
Yeah, that is.
That's a really incredible thing to look at, and it's just so important for this team. And I really never thought about it until Coach kind of laid it out real clear for us a few years back, like how important it is to stay off the road, how you start the playoffs at home, and it's just vital for us, and it's paid out. Now we lost, I think, 3 years ago, a second-round playoff game, and it was a real stressful thing. But mostly you have that home field advantage that really does pay dividends in the playoffs.
Yeah, and even back, 10 years ago, the region was much tighter geographically. Now the travel time is even worse.
Yeah.
So I've traveled to Clark Prep this year with Dave, and I don't want to ever do that again. That was a little too far to go. So let's just stay over here in East Alabama.
Big trip.
Yeah, but as now currently the Rebels are 2-1 record, and as you noted here that they're going to start to establish that personality that each team each year starts to get. And it's a lot of talent coming through, and we're seeing players step up in different areas due to some injuries. Cam Gooden, he got injured in the Starkville game. Senior, broke his collarbone, had surgery, but he's ready to come back as soon as the doctors will clear him, hopefully maybe mid-October.
Yeah, and you hate to see players go down like that. It's always crushing, and, of course, losing Landon early on. It's really encouraging to see this team begin to find its identity, really kind of tighten itself up and play real well together. And, Chet, it's just, to me, it's a team with extreme depth and certainly extreme defensive and offensive line depth. And I think that also will pay a lot of dividends as we go further into this year.
Yeah, we'll talk about depth in the next segment with some of the stats, and we go over who all touched the ball on the offensive side and the defensive side, tackle-wise. It's a long list, so we're going to have to save some time for that.
Well, speaking of time, let's do this. Let me give you a little quick mention about what we're going to do in tonight's show. We're going to take a look at the past two games' production, offensive and defensive players of the game, and just review the general play that went on during those games. We're going to talk with Coach Jackson about the offensive line and defensive line. Then we're going to talk with Coach Nesmith about the overall defensive play. And we'll close out our last section tonight with Coach Allen talking about the team, where we are, and just other things that he wants to bring up. But I have one other thing I'd like to add to tonight's early discussion. We have two new sponsors, and I'd like to mention them tonight. We have formalized the pregame show, and our pregame show is now going to be sponsored by Integrated Contractor Services, and we really appreciate those guys stepping up, taking that sponsorship, and participating with us. And the second new sponsor, well, not new sponsor, but new sponsorship, will be the post-game interviews, and that will be with Morgan Backhoe Services. And we appreciate Glenn and Tammy stepping up as well and helping us with that. It's always rewarding, refreshing, good to know that when you have sponsorships available, people want to participate, be a part of this program.
That's right. Hey, and quickly they got on those sponsorships, so we greatly appreciate them jumping in there real quick. And also some other big news happening down at CA on the school side of the house. Starting tomorrow, the CA News will be reinstated. If folks remember a couple years ago, they used to do the CA News and do the weather and lunch menu and other things going on. That's going to be reinstated.
That's very nice.
They'll be giving all the ins and outs of the CA happenings Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can find them on YouTube at the CA News, as well as the CA Facebook page and the Chambers Academy website. So stay tuned. Make sure you get in there on that YouTube page, just subscribe to it so you can get all the updates, and you'll know what's happening down there on the education side.
One of my favorite things, and I'm glad that's back.
Yep, it is. So, folks, we're going to be right back with some stats from the past couple games, and we'll go over that after these words from our sponsors.
Farmers and Merchants Bank is your hometown bank in Lafayette. Established in 1934, Farmers and Merchants Bank continues to operate with the same integrity it did when the bank first opened its doors. Farmers and Merchants Bank, a proud supporter of Chambers County football. That's Farmers and Merchants Bank, your local community bank, serving Chambers County and the Greater Valley area with all its banking needs. FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Craving some Mexican? Don't think twice. Come visit us at Monte Alban 3 at 1310 Highway 77, Lafayette, Alabama, for the best Mexican food around. Cheese dip, quesadillas, tacos, sheriff specials, and the best salsa in Chambers County. Planning a party or something special? Call Roxana at 334-864-0502 to reserve the party room.
Bring us back.
How are we doing? Everybody, we are ready, and we are back for our next segment. Thanks, Dave, for reminding me about that. It's always good to know when you're back. Chet, I didn't see the 3-2-1, I'm sorry. Chet, we're going to talk about a little bit of our schedule So I'm going to turn that over to you and let you run through that at this moment.
Yeah, so we're looking right now. We talked about in the first segment there about how we had the first home non-region game versus Starkville from rematch from last year.
Yep.
Went on the road and met our new opponent from up the road there in Oxford, the Hope Academy Saints. Came out up there on top, and we came out quick and set the tone early. And we also let a lot of younger guys get in there. You're talking about getting film time there, and for that game, the offensive. The player of the game was the offensive line for the offense, and then the defensive players of the game was the entire defensive line because they controlled everything in that game.
Well, that 57-12 win, Chet, it was just domination by the big guys up front. And as you and I talked that night, there's just no way to segregate that. There's no way to pull anybody out. It was just an overall great play.
Yeah, and the impact players for that game up in Oxford were Cameron Moore and Kaysen Nix. Kaysen Nix got back on the good side there and kicking some good field goals there. He was on, 7?
I think 7 for 7.
Yeah. And then last week we had the nice game, a surprise home game against Valiant Cross. And CA jumped out early onto that one, 28-0 in the first quarter, and they never looked back and ended up with a 49-8 region victory. On the offensive side of the ball last week, 237 yards of rushing led by Peyton Yurda, 7 carries, 80 yards, 1 2-point conversion, averaged about 11 yards every time he touched the ball. Jack Nelms, 5 carries, 76 yards, averaged 15 yards a touch. Eli Wharton, 5 carries, 37 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaging about 7 yards every time he touched it. Trey Tigner came in later in the game, and good moves there from Trey. He was hard running and got 4 carries, 27 yards, about 6.5 yards every time he touched it. Hunter Andrews had 2 carries, 17 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yeah, Chet, it was just a dominating night. The offensive line was opening giant holes, and every one of these guys did a great job. I know Trey was close to breaking a couple of long runs, like 1 foot, just get caught. But overall, outstanding rushing game.
Yeah, and Peyton mentioned that in the post game. We interviewed him about how big the holes were on the offensive line. And, drive a truck through it, I think he mentioned. So. And,
he was right. We had him down. I was absolutely convinced he scored a touchdown, but it was the 2-point conversion. That's what that was.
So, also on the passing side, Hunter Andrews was 8 for 13, and Cohen Hand came in and was 2 for 2. Tristan Ayers stepping in for Cam Gooden, who's out with that injury, got 1 catch for 30 yards, 1 touchdown. Colton Fuller, 1 catch, 15 yards, 1 touchdown. Eli Wharton, 1 catch for 10 yards. Kobe Watley, 3 catches, 38 yards, 1 touchdown. And Aiden Tilley, 2 catches and 18 yards.
Really enjoyed seeing the ball move around like that. We saw some great play calls. We saw some absolutely great execution. I really love the throw that Cohen made there out to Kobe Watley. I see the young guys come on and play. Just crisp execution, 2 quick moves and speed, and it's another touchdown.
Absolutely. And look at the way the ball's distributed along that offense very nicely.
Yeah.
Not one person's getting the entire load there. So that shows you that depth that behind in the backfield, that they can change the pace backs with Trey coming in. You got Peyton that will run through a wall. So different styles back there, and Jack with the speed coming out of the backfield. On the defensive side, Kent Nelson was out there with 10 tackles. He was critical on some special teams as well. Colton Fuller, 7 tackles. Bryce Modeling had 6 tackles, 1 interception for a 35-yard pick 6, and 1 other pass breakup. Tucker Thrower, 6 tackles, 1 sack. Eli Wharton, 5 tackles, 1 sack. Drew Shepard, 3 tackles. Troy Elliott, 2 tackles, 1 interception. Trey Tigner on the defensive side of the ball had 3 tackles. Spencer Newman and Gabe Bridges had 2 tackles. A.J. Knowles came in with 2 tackles and 1 sack.
I'll tell you, Chet, it was, again, from the defensive side of the ball to me, just a continuing example of Coach Nesmith's defense. I try to watch the defensive ends almost every game, and you watch the pressure that those guys put on. Sometimes they don't make the tackle, but they're contained, and their game awareness really sets that defense up not to give up the big busted play, not to give that big run around the corner. And our guys just were outstanding. I mean, big hits, big pressure. But I will give credit to Valiant Cross. They kept playing.
Yeah.
They were a little disorganized at times. There are several occasions with 10 men on the field, but they will get better at that, I believe. And we like the fact that they just kept playing. Now, it got a little chippy later on, and that's to be expected in a blowout. But our guys handled themselves right and well. And again, just the defense, I think, set the tone of that game.
Yeah, you're speaking of, the defense, containing the quarterback. Every time the quarterback tried to roll out, he met Drew Shepard on the edge.
Well, I talked to Drew, if you remember in the interviews, about his requirement. What was his assignment? And I said, as the game got going, were you able to free up and just put pressure? And he was like, no. I have my position. I have my contain. That's what I do. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, every time he turned to make the corner, Drew's like, I'm here. And he just took that route away from the quarterback.
And I'm sure it's exactly the same on the other side with Eli. It's just that defensive discipline that shows up every week. And I just love watching these guys play defense.
Yep, so the defense held the Warriors in check all night. They had 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, as well as the quarterback just flustered all evening. He couldn't get his feet underneath him to throw a pass. So great job there on the defense. And you've got the offensive and defensive players of the game.
And we love it because these guys are making it so hard for these picks, and they truly do. Our offensive player of the game, Peyton Yurda, 7 carries, 80 yards, 2-point conversion, 11 yards a touch. Nice job by Peyton. Good to see him back. Good to see him playing hard. We had 2 defensive players of the game, and that was Bryce Modeling with the 6 tackles, pick 6, 35-yarder, and also Drew Shepard for that contain and the 3 solo tackles. So it was a big night, and when we pick offensive and defensive players, that is not to slight any of the players. I'm telling you, it was just an absolute overwhelming list of guys to consider. Everyone played well. And we also had 2 impact players of the game, and we want to mention those tonight. Colton Fuller played outstanding, just a great job all night long, and in addition to catching the touchdown pass, had 7 tackles. Jack Nelms, also an impact player of the game, 5 carries, 76 yards, just outstanding production with those 5 carries.
Yeah, and tomorrow night we're going to need these guys to step up as well against this Banks team that appears to have improved a little bit. At least they've gotten some stability at head coach. Jermaine Watson has been there for a couple years now. So as we step into that game tomorrow night, the Banks Jets come in at 1-2 overall, but 1-0 in the region. Yeah. They lost 2 games, one to Flint River, their first game, and then they lost to South Choctaw, and then bounced back with a big shutout victory against the region foe, Bessemer Academy, 32-0 last week. So
I'll tell you, that's a big win for them. And, Chet, we say this every time we have this big region game. And we've played a lot of big games against Banks. If you remember that big matchup in Birmingham, and then we wound up kind of rolling that game open. But then we played them in the championship game, and those guys came out with upset in their mind. Now, things got going, and we won that game going away as well. But we have played them some tough games.
Yeah, like I mentioned, Jermaine Watson has been up there for a couple years. His Jets are looking to swing through Torbert Allen and break their winless streak against CA. They've never beaten us, 0-6 in a lifetime with that school. And if they win this game, they take firm control of the region. Either whoever wins it is going to be up 2-0 in the region, and somebody's going to have a loss beside their name. So we have got to encourage everybody to get out there tomorrow night and support these athletes as they take on the Banks Jets.
Well, we saw this week, and I said this earlier today. I cruise out to Torbert Allen Field Tuesday, not expecting 15 cars and walking in and being all good. The place was jammed. The concession stand is rolling, and it was an unbelievable crowd for the JV game. And it just tells me why we have such a good crowd. Our CA family is into it. They are into the game, and they're going to be there. But we want everybody out early and being loud tomorrow night against the Banks Jets.
Absolutely. We got to make it let them remember their trip down here again. So far the Jets, they're averaging 20 points a game on offense, but they're giving up 25 points on defense. Rebels, on the other hand, so far this year are averaging 40 points a game, and the defense is stingy again this year. They're averaging 11 points a game, and a lot of it is you can look back at the stats from last week and just see how many people are participating on each side of the ball.
Yeah, it's been a really outstanding effort in my mind so far on both sides of the ball. Maybe the defense a little bit ahead, but defensive play is outstanding right now, and Banks is going to have a tough challenge to score.
Yeah, and the defense for Chambers, we'll get into it a little bit with Coach Nesmith there about the speed on the outside, controlling those wide receivers that they have. and the downfield ability that Banks can get into. We want to go take this moment to thank all of our sponsors, Farmers and Merchants, for sponsoring the show, Monty Albin, Taffy Nelson, and if you've noticed these nice new hats we have, thanks to the Blue Button down in Lafayette for getting these fine caps.
They are outstanding, by the way.
They are nice. So, folks, we appreciate all of our sponsors, and we'll take a word from some of them right now and come back with Coach Jackson.
Craving some Mexican? Don't think twice. Come visit us at Monty Albin 3 at 1310 Highway 77, Lafayette, Alabama, for the best Mexican food around. Cheese dip, quesadillas, tacos, sheriff specials, and the best salsa in Chambers County. Planning a party or something special? Call Roxana at 334-864-0502 to reserve the party room.
Farmers and Merchants Bank is your hometown bank in Lafayette. Established in 1934, Farmers and Merchants Bank continues to operate with the same integrity it did when the bank first opened its doors. Farmers and Merchants Bank, a proud supporter of Chambers County football. That's Farmers and Merchants Bank, your local community bank, serving Chambers County and the Greater Valley area with all its banking needs. FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show. And we are here with Coach Kyle Jackson, our offensive line coach. Coach Kyle, welcome. Glad you're here.
How you doing, Steve? Chester.
Great to have you.
We are, we're trying to come up with things to ask you. And we talk every time we sit down with you about the game being won on the line of scrimmage, and the team that wins the line of scrimmage is going to have the best chance to win.
That's right.
Well, I think in 3 games, we've been in that position. Tell us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I believe so. First week was a little tough,
Yeah.
but I mean, we come out and did what we wanted to do. It didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but I mean, the guys wasn't any fault in anybody. I mean, they played hard. They did their job. They come off the football. And then last week and the week before that, I mean, it's pretty obvious that's what happened.
Yeah. Well, it's really, we talked about the athletic ability, the size, and the speed in the last 2 games, and we have a decided advantage there. I mean, we really, I think we were going into that game expecting it, and we established that dominance really early on, and you got to see a lot of young guys play.
We did. A lot of guys got in, and we've got a whole nother group. This kind of like after the backups that we call 26. So guys are going to be here next year,
Right.
And they got in the game, and they did a good job too. And we're going to continue to work on that throughout the year.
That's got to be a very meaningful thing. And I'll tell you something else that Chet and I talked about this week, Tuesday night. We're in the Lowndes game, and we're watching the Pee Wee game. And the Pee Wee game got out of hand. And the coaching staff was coaching kids really hard. The game was out of hand, and I kept thinking, our coaching staff is not backing off on coaching our kids no matter what the score is.
That's right.
And it transferred to that very tight and exciting JV game. And Coach, we see it every Friday night. It's just the mentality of this coaching staff.
Well, and I mean, we coached those guys all week, and like today, we went up and practiced with the Pee Wee after the varsity was over, and had a great practice. Trying to get them, where they need to be, and so I mean, those games are pretty important too. I mean, put a lot of work in, and those kids want to win, and everybody wants to see them win, and that's just the way we feel about it.
And you mentioned how important they will be just down the road.
That's right. Just a blink of an eye, they're going to be up here on the varsity level, taking the stage from these gentlemen up here. So we're going to look a little bit into tomorrow, scouting the Jets. Typically, they have some pretty big fellas on the line up there. Is there anything that stood out at you about their line?
No, I mean they're going to be. They've got some athletes, and but I'm going to be disappointed if they want to line up with us.
Okay, well that's what
that's where we can go. I mean, it don't matter who you are. That's the way we feel like we're going to do. We're going to make them.
Because some teams size-wise, can be much larger than us,
That's right.
and I didn't know that, if there's anything special about those guys, if they pulled in some guys, recruited some.
I mean, they won't. I mean, we match up with them well as far as what they look like and everything. It'll be comparable, but
Okay.
I don't feel like they're going to want to do what we do.
Well, yeah, just like we were talking about that JV game the other night, the Lowndes kids were huge, and ours were half their size, but still making tough tackles, hitting them right in the jaw,
That's right.
That mentality.
Those were some big kids.
Yeah.
They were big, man.
were
I
big
thought that was
kids.
the varsity team when I got up there. I think they messed up down there in Lounsboro putting the grown kids on the bus. But, yeah, they were big.
Coach, I got a bit of a question. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything, but if you think about if Banks looks at our film, okay, and they come down here and they say, we're going to put 9 guys in the box. We're going to bring 9 guys up on the line. Well, you got 6 helmets, right?
That's right.
How, from an offensive line coaching mentality, when that starts creeping in and happening, what goes through your mind? What do you do to counter that kind of activity?
Well, I mean, when you start playing football in a phone booth, it gets problematic. But so you can only block as many of them as you got.
Yeah.
And so, we're only going to get a hat on a hat, and that's when Coach Allen's got to go into his bag of other things. And we've got all that stuff. We don't always do it, but he's got plenty.
So really and true, I think that is the case, and you see teams start playing that kind of gimmicky thing. They start really cheating up. And it is a numbers game, and I think our guys are always going to match up one-on-one. I don't think there's any problem with that. But hopefully the mentality always there is if you're going to cheat up, we're going to burn you.
That's right, and that's what happened in the first week. They started bringing those guys up, and now everybody's got everybody blocked their guy, but the quarterback's not accounted for, and when he's standing at linebacker depth, that's what makes it difficult.
That's right. Well, one thing that I always know is our guys do an incredible job on the offensive line, Coach. We saw a couple of games, our offensive guards are downfield in front of running backs, looking for people to block. And it's just been a consistent trait of this offense for every year I've been here.
Those guys, they've been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
And you don't have to coach them very much. They know where they're supposed to be. They know what they're supposed to do. And, and I was talking today, as far as the offensive line as a whole and the starters, especially with the past 2 weeks, those guys know. They watch the film. They know what's going to happen. And it's like, well, they feel like they're going to get limited reps, and they're going out there to make those reps count.
Yeah.
And it's just a sign of a bunch that's been around a while.
You mentioned that about how hungry the guys coming in, like you were talking about the twos coming in and being really hungry for that series to play.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Kyle's talking about.
Yeah, this is amazing how they come in off, to give the other guys a rest, and they come in hitting 2 times as hard as the other guys starting out there.
Oh, yeah.
Trey, on the offensive side of the ball, once he got his touches, he was ready to blow it open.
Oh, yeah.
And so they want to get that cleat in the ground, pop somebody in the mouth, or break a 100-yard run. So it's a great mentality those young men have. So it's good stuff.
Well, Coach, we appreciate all the insight. We look forward to getting down there with you tomorrow night and getting set up in game 2 in the region against the Banks Jets.
Yeah, we need a big lead in the region, right?
We're going to get it.
Yeah. Coach, hey, we appreciate it. Folks, we'll be back with Coach Neesmith right after this.
Craving some Mexican? Don't think twice. Come visit us at Monte Alban 3 at 1310 Highway 77, Lafayette, Alabama, for the best Mexican food around. Cheese dip, quesadillas, tacos, sheriff specials, and the best salsa in Chambers County. Planning a party or something special? Call Roxana at 334-864-0502 to reserve the party room.
Farmers and Merchants Bank is your hometown bank in Lafayette. Established in 1934, Farmers and Merchants Bank continues to operate with the same integrity it did when the bank first opened its doors. Farmers and Merchants Bank, a proud supporter of Chambers County football. That's Farmers and Merchants Bank, your local community bank, serving Chambers County and the Greater Valley area with all its banking needs. FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Hello again, everyone. I got my signal, so I'm on time with this segment. That's really good. We want to welcome back to the Chambers Academy Sports Live, the Dotsie Ice, Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show with Coach Dylan Nesmith. Coach, welcome. It's good to have you here. We both have some questions about intensity on defense, and Chet, you can go or I'll go, whichever one you want to do.
I'll start it off with, so, we've got three games under our belt, a tough matchup there in the first week, 2 different kind of opponents there in week 2 and 3. Kind of give us your assessment. So far we're about a third of the way through the schedule on your defense.
Yeah, it's flown by already, guys. It feels like, just a couple of days ago we were working out in the summer, and then here we are, going into week 4.
Yeah.
So things have really flown by. I feel defensively we've played really, really good football, even with our loss. I thought defensively we played really good football. But overall, I think we've had the most dominant defensive line in the entire state, and I think that's been huge for us.
Yeah.
And but so far, so very, very proud.
Good.
Coach, when you look at these games, and I agree with you, I think all 3 games, I think we played incredibly good defense. I just think it was a tough loss. We had a chance to win that game, but we were in that game all along. The last 2 games, what just stood out to me first and foremost is the aggressiveness of this defense, but that's not new. That's something we come to expect from your defense.
Yes, sir.
But something that just seems more and more obvious to me is the speed across the defense. Our big guys can run, and our big guys are quick.
Yeah, well, they're not. I mean, we're not necessarily the fastest bunch of guys. We weren't faster than that team we played last week, and we weren't faster than Starkville week 1. But our guys understand their assignment and understand their responsibilities, and that allows them to play faster.
Right.
And that's been the big thing for us, is just getting them to understand it, understand what they want, what we want them to do, and that allows the guys to kind of play, to play much faster than sometimes it looks like we're blitzing, but it's just the read, and it hits so quick. It's really, really fun to watch.
I think that's an excellent point. I believe if most people really didn't know this team and they looked at the film, they would think the blitz was on quite often.
Absolutely. But just going back, I want to talk through a couple of the games. I thought we had a really, really good game plan for Starkville week 1, and the guys executed the game plan really, really well. There were some things that we didn't do exactly right, and that cost us. The first touchdown that they had, we kind of busted it at linebacker. We just didn't fit it exactly right, and that sometimes that's all it takes. And then they threw the ball, the deep ball, and we had Trey did a great job. He wasn't even his man. Trey came off of his guy and had a chance to make a play on the ball, and the guy just made a play. And
I could have swore he had that.
I did too. When I saw him peeling off, and I was like, "Here we go!" I thought he was about to intercept it, and the guy just made an incredible play.
Well, Trey was in position.
He
and
was.
Really,
it wasn't his responsibility too. It was. He came off of his guy in order to, just like we teach them, in order to be in position to make a play. And so from that point on, we've really, really tried to focus in on, when the ball is in the air, we've got to come down with it. If we don't come down with it, nobody does. And so we kind of went into that mindset week 2, and I still thought even against Hope, we were just so dominant up front with our defensive line. You really couldn't see some of the things that we were messing up. We really busted some coverages against Hope, which is very uncharacteristic of us. But we've progressed, and we've gotten a little bit better. And last week we had a couple takeaways in the secondary. Yep. And because the defensive line and the linebackers are playing at an extremely, extremely high level. Colton in the middle has made some. He's just such a heads-up player, and he's just so intelligent, and he understands exactly where we need him to be. And he's playing lights out, and the defensive line is just, they're big, and like you said, they're very fast, and they're physical players. So it's going to come down to the secondary. The secondary is going to have to make plays, because teams are not going to be able to just line it up and run it at us. That's what we want them to do. We want teams to just try to line up and run at us. But we expect us to be very successful against the run. We're going to have to make plays in the back end.
Well, there's two things about this. It looks like this year you've got real good, solid depth on your defensive line. You got guys who can come in and at linebacker.
Oh, yeah.
And on the corners, you've got
yeah.
people who can play.
We've got three four-man defensive lines that I feel I feel like we can win ball games with.
The other thing I wanted to mention to you, I talked to Bryce after the game, and it's almost like when he picked that ball, you just kind of, if you're watching that game, and I'm watching him just move, and it looked like he just read the quarterback all the way, and he just sat back. He just sat back and waited on that ball to come up, and he was gone.
Yeah, he was in such good position. He almost kind of baited the guy. He was waiting on to throw it, and he's such a great kid too. He's had a phenomenal season. He's gotten so much better. He's the type of kid that you don't have to tell things more than once to. You tell him once, and he's got it. And we expect really big things out of him. He's kind of our quarterback back there in the secondary, and he's our communicator back there, and he's done a phenomenal job.
Well, I asked him about that play, and I said, "Hey, were you reading the receiver or were you reading the quarterback?" He just looked at me like, "Why are you asking me that?" Of course, I'm reading the quarterback.
Yeah.
Great play.
It was an amazing play.
Well, speaking of the secondary, looking at the Jets' offense, what do they lean heavy on? The pass? Because the past couple years, they've always been a passing squad.
And that's what they're going to do. That's what we expect them to do. That's what we've been preparing for all week. We understand that, with our guys up front and our linebacker play the way it has been, that teams are going to look to try to throw the ball on early downs, which is, not necessarily conventional. Right. Most teams run the ball on early downs and then throw the ball. But when you're willing to throw the ball on early downs, that kind of stresses your defense a little bit. And so we expect them to throw the ball. We expect them to get in that quarterback is extremely athletic. He throws the ball really well too. He's a new kid. He wasn't there last year, and they've got some new receivers that can get up and run too. So we're going to have to be on our toes in the back end, and that's where we understand what we're going to get with the guys up front. We're going to have to be very disciplined on the back end.
Well, we know that Banks is coming in 1-0 after beating Bessemer. Yeah. We're 1-0. So after tomorrow night, there's going to be a true leader in the region.
Yeah.
So there's nothing, and we've said this, I think every time we've played Banks, we have said there's nothing those guys would like better than to come in here or beat us up there.
Yeah.
And we've matched up real well with them. But, Coach, your defense is playing great. I think this team is really trying to find its identity, and it's coming together.
Yeah, you're right. We are trying to, we don't want to be playing our best ball right now. We want to be playing our best ball in about 6 or 7 weeks. So, with everything that happened with Landon, it kind of set us back.
Yeah.
It did. When you lose a guy like that, to it, not only offensively, but just as a team, we kind of had to regroup and pick each other up and have the next man up mentality, and I think we're starting to get there. I feel a lot better about the situation right now than I did 3 weeks ago.
Well, your senior leadership seems to be on track.
Oh, it's
unbelievable.
unbelievable.
To be leading this team in the right way, and we always say you go as far as your seniors will take you.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to be a part of this bunch. We can kind of kick back sometimes and let those older guys,
Yeah, they can help lead those younger guys, give them the points.
It's unbelievable that the seniors, how phenomenal of a job they've done.
I would not want this senior group on me in a practice.
No. Yeah, we
try not
talk
to have
about it
that
all the time.
happen.
We're not messing with those guys.
No, they don't get too much backlash. They're kind of.
Is there anything else you want to talk about for tomorrow's game?
No, not necessarily tomorrow, but I don't know if y'all talked about it. I couldn't really hear. But I'm just proud of them little JV boys. Yeah. What an unbelievable start to the season they've had. After losing such big classes the last 3 years, and for those guys that could come up and not have as much experience as we have had in the past, and they've to come out and be 3-0 right now, I could not be happier with that.
Sid called me and said, "Hey, you free on Tuesday?" And I said, I don't know what's going on. He said, how about a JV game?
Yeah.
And I said, well.
Good for you, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was a great
what
game.
a great game.
It was, man.
Glenwood
It was.
2 is basically what I call that game.
it was. It
full
was.
of excitement. But Coach, you are right. That team, the team was on the short side size-wise. Showed up with real skill, and I'll tell you, they just played lights out all night long, and we saw good collective offensive and defensive plays, and we had certain guys just step up at critical moments and make big plays.
It is, it's been a lot of fun.
Got them those Earl boys.
Those Earl boys are tough now. Yeah, I ain't got nothing.
That one
to
of them
them.
wrapped up that 6'2" running back, and next thing you know,
Well, the poor kid couldn't go anywhere.
I
He
know.
just had to stand there and get hit.
yeah, but
Joker's
it was
tough.
awesome to watch those kids.
He's tough as new rope, boy.
Well, when you got a guy who can punt the ball and get downfield and make the tackle, that's also a pretty good sign.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been fun. That's been a fun group to be a part of.
Yeah, it was a great time. I'm glad we got out there. I wish there were probably some more JV games we can hit up, but that was a good game there, especially, against Lowndes, because we can even feel the pressure and the excitement coming up for them coming up here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and we've kind of seen some things that Lowndes does offensively, and that was exactly what their JV was doing, and it was kind of funny to go get a little prequel, because our JV does exactly what we do, so we got a little bit of a prequel to it, and if it ends up the same way, I'll be happy.
We just put helmets on and go match up and play.
Absolutely.
Coach, thanks very much for being
Yes,
here.
sir.
We always love talking to you.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Folks, we'll be back in a few minutes to talk to Coach Allen after we hear from our sponsors. Thanks, man.
Craving some Mexican? Don't think twice. Come visit us at Monte Alban 3 at 1310 Highway 77, Lafayette, Alabama, for the best Mexican food around. Cheese dip, quesadillas, tacos, sheriff specials, and the best salsa in Chambers County. Planning a party or something special? Call Roxana at 334-864-0502 to reserve the party room.
Farmers and Merchants Bank is your hometown bank in Lafayette. Established in 1934, Farmers and Merchants Bank continues to operate with the same integrity it did when the bank first opened its doors. Farmers and Merchants Bank, a proud supporter of Chambers County football. That's Farmers and Merchants Bank, your local community bank, serving Chambers County and the Greater Valley area with all its banking needs. FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
All right, folks, we're back here with Coach Jason Allen here to talk about the season so far and some outlooks as we head into a big region matchup tomorrow against the Banks Jets. So, Coach, kind of give us an idea of where you see the team going into week 4.
Yeah, Chester, I think we're improving. I know we've won 2 really lopsided games. But the thing I look for is, do we come out hot? Are our kids ready to play? Are we executing? Are we taking care of the ball? Are we making silly penalties or not? And I think our kids have been ready to play. Of course, you never really know when you're that much better than the last 2 teams we played. So all we can do is continue to practice with purpose every week. We have a mature team. We have an old team. But those kids have continued. I told them today in the meeting room, I said, this is my 30th year of coaching football. Wow. I said, so you could probably imagine I could probably get tired of practice some days. But I thoroughly enjoy going to practice with these kids every day because their body language is good. They never complain about the heat or how long we practice or what we're doing, and they understand that every day is precious in this game.
Yep.
Just like we've learned in the last 24 hours, every day in life is precious.
Yep.
And these seniors realize that this is their last year and it's going by fast. Yep. And it's just a great sport that you see old men talking about well after they play.
Well, you're looking at me when you said that, obviously. And I do.
Yep. So I think we're getting better. I think we've improved in the kicking game. Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think we're getting our timing better on offense with a new quarterback. And then I think defensively we've just been nasty all year. And I'm having a lot of fun watching these offensive and defensive linemen play football because we got some straight dogs up front that are enjoying the heck out of knocking the crap out of people and helping them up. And that's been really fun for me. This is a good offensive defensive line as I've coached in my tenure anywhere in my career. How good they're going to be, we'll decide at the end of the year. But I really like our team on the line of scrimmage. I really do.
Well, one of the things, Coach, that you mentioned, and I think back to Tuesday night at the JV game, walking into the press box, there's several of your seniors in there. And it's the same thing you're talking about every time I see these kids. We have great young men, and we have great young women. These guys, though, have a level of seriousness about them. They have a level of purpose. Every time I talk to them, they're not goofy. They're not kidding. They're not unserious. They are focused. They want to talk about being focused and what they're going to do. And I think it's just a character of your team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just a really mature class, and it's like there's two seasons to them. There's football season, and there's waiting for football season. you know, and so I take great pride in that and what we have been able to build at Chambers Academy and the culture and the standard that they're trying to live up to on a day-to-day, week-to-week, year-by-year basis. And they understand that we're going to put our best forward every day, every week.
Yeah. Well, we see a couple things. Chet and I are always talking about this as we get a break and we watch a few commercials. One of the things you mentioned is how people come out. Our guys come out and they're ready to go, and they kind of set the tone. And your big guys, whether it's on the offensive side or the defensive side, really set the tone early. And I think that, to me, it takes a little bit of pressure off the rest of the team. It's like our big guys are not going to be blocked, and our big guys on the offensive side are going to move people out. That's what's going to happen every game.
Yeah. You know, the old adage is true that, you know, you win games up front. Yeah. And what we try to do in our program is develop offensive linemen. When they're young, identify where they play. We're always looking for good guards that are smart, that can move, that are coachable. We're always looking for big tackles that can move people in down block and tight ends. And we're trying to do that even now all the way to our Pee Wee program, okay? So what's really, I told a coach from Banks the other day, he was talking about our offensive line. I said, well, Coach, those are the same kids that were playing you in 2023 in the state championship game. Those same kids. That's and right. They're seniors now. Yeah. And they've been through a lot of wars together. They've been through, they've seen it all. And so they really help me. They are so smart out there on the field. They're like, Coach, they're lined up like this. We need to run this. We need to run that. They understand our system and what works and what the other team has given us. And that's what you want as a coach, to teach those young men that, so that now that they're really coaches on the field for us. And not to mention, they've gotten in the weight room. They've made themselves strong. They understand physicality wins. And when that ball snapped, they're bringing it. And so I'm really pleased with that as a coach. Coach Kyle Jackson, Coach Jacob Lovelace, and Coach Cross Colley have done a phenomenal job with those guys, and we spent a lot of time at practice, and I think you can tell. And so, that's the strength of our team. Yeah. That's the strength of our team. If you want to point to a strength.
Well, I think you also hit on something else. The maturity of this team. We see players in the right place. We see that constantly. We just don't see the breakdowns that we have seen at times. It just seems to be more aware, more prepared, more into the game from the very get-go. And I agree with you. Having two blowouts, you look forward to having that little tighter matchup, so you really start identifying that team. But, hey, we've got region game number 2 against Banks. Who wins that game is going to have a decided advantage in the region.
Yeah, this will guarantee home field in the first round, from my understanding, and this is really early in the year for that to be happening. But Banks is a dangerous team. They've got speed on the outside. We've got to control the football, and we've got to play with physicality, which is our MO. If we don't do that every week, we're not going to be successful. And they'll bring a really athletic team in that we've got to make sure that we're fundamentally sound. But I tell you what, defensively, our guys are solid. I mean, Coach Nesmith, I think, is the best defensive coordinator in the state of Alabama in AISA. Now, I don't know anything about public schools because we don't play them. And what he does with those kids within our system, you're not going to fool us. You're not going to get us out of place. Now, you may slip. I mean, something's going to happen every once in a while. You may catch a ball here or there, but I trust this team, and I trust him completely on the defensive side of the football. I think we legitimately have given up let's see. I think we've given up 7 points the entire year because I'm not going to count the touchdown where they started at the 20-yard line against Starkville. And then I think the last two games, if we wanted to have a goose egg, we could have kept the goose egg.
I absolutely agree with that, Coach. I don't think there's any doubt about that. This one unit on defense has just been kind of phenomenal. I mean, they've really played incredibly well.
Yep.
Just shut down.
Yep. There's defense. The defensive line for us is they playing phenomenally, and then you got Colton Fuller right behind them, who was Luke Tarver's understudy. I mean, they were joined at the hip, okay? And now you got Colton, who we call Captain Fuller, and if you're down there on the field, when the ball is snapped within 1 to 2 seconds, he has diagnosed what the play is and is calling it out loud, verbally. Our defense is talking the entire time, and Coach Nesmith said that's a sign that the kids know what's going on. They're talking the whole time about what formation you're in, how wide you are. There's all kind of things that they understand about leverage and angles, and it's just been really fun. I just love to sit back and watch some guys play defense.
Wait a minute, you got a captain and a bull. Is there anything else you got going on?
We got a Bulldog in the middle, Gabe Bulldog Bridges, and then Mount Newman at the one technique.
Mount Newman,
and
okay.
the Shepherd on the end, he's corralling quarterbacks, Drew the Shepherd. So, we're going to try to get all them guys a nickname before the year's over. But they've earned that nickname. They've been with us long enough. And I tell you, Gabe Bridges, he just been, if you just watch him, he has been rolling people all over the field this year. And I love the edge that he plays with. He enjoys that. That's where he finds his satisfaction.
We just had a little conversation earlier tonight about Gabe, and I said to Chester, I said, I just see this attitude with him, and I mean, it is an aggressive, like, I'm coming. And he just has that, and he carries that with him. And we watched him, exactly what you're saying, roll people over. I mean, he has done an incredible job. But look, this defense is nasty. When these guys no shine away from contact, and they will hunt you down and hit you. That's the really good thing about it. Yep. And we love seeing this defensive secondary hit too.
Yeah, they'll beat the brakes off of you out there. I wouldn't want to be on the opposing side of the ball. We talk about this like, man, we're not messing with these guys after seeing them come out of the weight room.
Hide your women and children. And let's go to work.
That's right. So, hey, focusing on tomorrow night, is there anything that concerns you, with the speed or anything?
They got a number
outside?
12. They got a number 12. He plays outside on the right in their formation, outside receiver. They'll move him around. He's got really good speed. They always have good speed at the receiver position. I don't know if you remember in 23, we went to Mountain Brook, first play of the game. They threw an 80-yard touchdown on us. So they always got speed on the outside. Their quarterback throws it pretty accurately. Coach Nesmith was pointing out on film. So we got to get Rush in his face. We got to push the pocket. We got to flush him out, and then we got to get him on the ground.
Well, the thing that I also remember, Coach, is we played Banks up there, that big game, and we won it. And we played those guys in the championship. And when we went out there, they came out with the mindset of upsetting this team. Yeah. Look, they knew we were favored. They knew how good we were. But they played us awfully hard for a quarter and a half. And they were trying to get that momentum, and we switched it on them.
Yep.
But these guys are dangerous. I truly believe that.
Yeah, when you got athletes, you're going to be dangerous. And if you remember that year, they had run a 4-man front against us the first game.
Yep.
And the championship game, they came out in a 50 front, and they gave us some problems.
Yep.
And it took us a half to make some adjustments. Yep. And then in that third quarter, we were able to get things rolling, yep. And that was a good night.
It's it's always been good matchups. I think you're exactly right. It seems like they always have a big, rangy, athletic quarterback. They've got two big guys on the wing, and Banks just plays hard. And now we've got to establish that. And I think once we can establish the control of the game, and that again begins offensive, defensive lines to me every game. That's when I think we can think about getting this game really under control. But we've got to establish that early on, and we got the right guys to do it.
Yep. Somebody asked me, would you rather have an average line and a great back, or would you rather have a great line and average backs? That's not a hard choice for me.
Not for me.
I'd rather be great at both.
Yeah.
Okay, and I feel like we got some great guys running the ball, but I know we got a great offensive line that's going to give our backs an opportunity to get positive yardage before they get touched.
Ever since we've been doing, these broadcasts, watching the games over and over, these holes are amazing. You never see. I mean, these guys open up, holes that trucks can drive through. I could run through, and make a touchdown. It's amazing to see how much open space they create in such a short period of time down there.
Yeah, well, if you come out to practice, we'll put you at blueback, Chester.
Okay.
And we'll run the buck sweep. And I want to see you split that thing.
Nah, I might get hurt.
Listen, I'm going to be busy that day. I can tell you right now.
Yeah, me too.
Last time I ran, I pulled my hamstring.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Last time I was coaching some softball, I came out with a torn hamstring. So
I'm not worried about the hamstrings. I'm worried about getting knocked out. That's my biggest concern. Well, Coach, look, we're excited about tomorrow night, like we always are. Game 4, second game in the region. It's a big night, and we want the CA family to come out and support this team.
Yeah, we've created a great environment. We got great fans. We got great concessions. We got a great place to play. We got a great YouTube group. All I can say is it's great to play for the CNEA.
That's a real good segue. Folks, we're going to take a couple of minutes to break here, and we'll be right back to close out the show. Thanks, Coach.
Farmers and Merchants Bank is your hometown bank in Lafayette. Established in 1934, Farmers and Merchants Bank continues to operate with the same integrity it did when the bank first opened its doors. Farmers and Merchants Bank, a proud supporter of Chambers County football. That's Farmers and Merchants Bank, your local community bank, serving Chambers County and the Greater Valley area with all its banking needs. FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Craving some Mexican? Don't think twice. Come visit us at Monte Alban 3 at 1310 Highway 77, Lafayette, Alabama, for the best Mexican food around. Cheese dip, quesadillas, tacos, sheriff specials, and the best salsa in Chambers County. Planning a party or something special? Call Roxana at 334-864-0502 to reserve the party room.
All right, folks, welcome back here to the last thing. We're going to wrap it up here. And I just want to thank Monte Alban again for always hosting us up here, and all of our sponsors, Farmers and Merchants, for helping this come through to you every single time we do this. And
especially our new sponsors. We really appreciate those guys stepping up.
That's right. And we want to remind everybody to check out the CA News will be reinstated this tomorrow, actually. They'll be giving all the ins and outs of the CA happenings on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can catch them on YouTube at the CA News. Make sure you find that and subscribe to it, as well as CA Facebook page and the website for Chambers Academy, so stay tuned.
Chet, how cool is it that we get the opportunity to come up here on Coach's Show nights and sit down with 3 absolutely great human beings, but great coaches, and just talk football with them?
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
Yeah, it makes this atmosphere so much fun in this town, and we're blessed to be here with these group of guys. So, folks, you need to see you out there tomorrow at Torbert Allen Field. Come early, stay late. We got a big region game against the Banks Jets, so get out there early. Kickoff is at 7, so we look forward to seeing you down there. Folks, have a great night.
See you later.